Hey guys, it's Deborah with RealMilitaryWivesTV. I haven't made a video in a very long time, and I have very legitimate excuses, but I'm not going to talk about them right now. I'm just going to jump right into my video today. I'm going to be talking about Fort Huachuca, which is in southern Arizona, and it's a little known post. We spent only 6 months there, so I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I will tell you everything that I personally know. I'm just going to tell you just the stuff that I know, the stuff that I witnessed, the stuff that I took advantage of while living there, and hopefully it'll help you guys out when you're moving there. We had moved from Germany to Arizona. I was about 3 months pregnant when we moved to Arizona. Now, this was a pleasant surprise because the weather is fantastic there. During the winter time, it's like 70 degrees during the day, which is really nice. And so the weather is definitely ideal if you guys are warm weather people. We decided to rent a house instead of living on post because there was a waiting list of about 3 months in order to get into a house on post. And since we were only going to be spending 6 months there, it just didn't make any sense for us to be in temporary housing for 3 months and then live in a house on post for 3 months. However, we did rent a house just off post. It was actually owned by a military couple. And our experience wasn't that great, which I will go in a little bit more detail later. We rented our house through Bradley Properties. I will list their link down below. Working with Bradley Properties was actually a really pleasant experience. We contacted them almost immediately and they were able to show us a ton of houses within our budget. To go into kind of the experience that we had at this particular house. Like I said, the owners were military, and so we assumed that by moving into a house that was owned by military that they would kind of work with us a little bit. They insisted that we sign a 1-year contract. Obviously, we couldn't do that. We could only sign a 6-month contract. So there was our first issue to begin with. Bradley Properties were so good at communicating with these people about the stuff that we needed and wanted as a part of our contract to rent this house. And, you know, being a military couple, I assumed that they would understand our situation and allow us to without any questions asked. But we had to butt heads a little bit to get that 6-month contract. So after the contract was signed, we moved into the house. Come to find out, the house is just absolutely nasty. The carpets, I mean, upon looking at the house, it was hard to actually really see the house in its true form because they had so many air fresheners distributed throughout the house. So it kind of masked the really nasty smell in the house. And once you took away all of those air fresheners when we moved in, we could smell the animal urine, which was basically all over the house. And it was a little disturbing. We were told that the carpets had been cleaned before we moved in. They were absolutely and obviously not. And within a few weeks of moving into our house, we encountered an ant infestation of which the owners would not pay for. The connections to the washer and dryer were all messed up. They were just completely ghetto rigged. Everything in this house was just, it was just a really unpleasant experience. So just make sure that you thoroughly look through a house before you rent it, especially if you plan on being there for a while. On to the next issue. Healthcare. Healthcare was great. There's a hospital on post. It's kind of one of those things where they have a hospital, it's like a pharmacy and stuff like that. So it's kind of like your typical post, which is really nice. They sent me off post for an OBGYN, and I specifically asked for a female, and so they put me with Gwynn Patterson. I went there for my first appointment and I was absolutely 100% dissatisfied. It was truly one of the most terrible doctor experiences I've ever had in my entire life. And I've worked with a lot of different types of doctors. My experience was so terrible with her that I ended up switching OBGYNs at 32 weeks. I ended up going with Dr. Kacenga, and there was another doctor attached to him, and I can't remember who it was. I only worked with really Dr. Kacenga while I was pregnant. He's the guy who delivered my baby. I ended up giving birth at the Sierra Vista Regional Hospital there. A pretty nice hospital. It's one of the smaller ones. I mean, it is kind of a smaller community. Sierra Vista is a really nice town. I really enjoyed living there. There was a lot of different types of restaurants. There was a mall there. It's not the biggest mall in the world. It's not the most fantastic mall, or at least it wasn't when we lived there, and this was back in 2007, 2008. There's a Walmart there, a Target there, like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross. The mall had, like, you know, kind of your basic mall stores. On post, when we first moved there, when we were trying to find out about housing, we went to ACS immediately. They gave us a welcome package and they offered us the chance to rent utensils if we needed them. And I would 100% suggest when you move on to a post to go to the ACS first and foremost, because they're going to give you a wealth of information and they're also going to offer to rent you for free utensils, household goods, cleaning supplies, anything that you need before your household goods get to your house. We didn't have a lot of interaction on post just because we were living off post. My husband was only doing schooling there for 6 months and that was it. I did go to the PX a lot. And the PX is basically your typical PX. It's got, I want to say, an Anthony's Pizza, a Baskin-Robbins in there. So that was kind of nice. They had a movie theater there, a furniture store. It's been 5 years since we lived there, so a few things may have changed. There is like a mountainside just past Fort Huachuca. Takes just a few minutes to get there. We drove up there a lot. We had a Jeep, so my husband liked to go up there a lot. Keep in mind that they do have signs up there that tell you to watch out for possible illegal immigrants trying to cross the border. Sierra Vista is literally, I want to say 20 or 30 minutes away from the border of Mexico. We did go to the border a few times, but we never actually went into Mexico just because, I don't know, we just didn't. I don't think there was any really particular reason. We had our passports, we could have, we just didn't. One place that we did visit a lot while living there was Tombstone. You guys are probably familiar with Tombstone. Very popular tourist destination in that area. We probably went there 3 or 4 times. Every single time someone came to visit us in Sierra Vista, we took them to Tombstone because that was kind of the highlight of that area. And Tombstone's really cool. It's like an old western town. There's actors who kind of play the parts of old western guys. Great places to eat. You learn a lot about kind of what happened in the Old West there in Tombstone, which is really cool. Just do your research. I'll put a few links down below. But overall, it was a good experience. If my husband and I had the opportunity to go back to Sierra Vista or Fort Huachuca, we would definitely take that opportunity. We would probably be a little bit more picky about where we lived. We would hope to probably get a house on post because some of the houses on post are really nice. But other than that, it was a very positive experience. And it's like what I always say. Post experiences are going to be as good as you make it. It doesn't matter if you end up in the worst place to live at in the military. It's going to be what you make it. And I think overall our experience was pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this was helpful to you. If you guys had similar or opposite experiences as I did, leave your comments down below. If you have any questions, leave the comments down below as well. Thanks for watching Real Military Wives TV, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.